brought up police, and
Oh,
this is a hot topic.
yeah.
I want to know what y'all feel about this George Floyd trial and how it
Sullivan,
played out.
the
Yeah,
officer.
yeah. How the whole process played out.
Well,
I know we see a lot on social media. Hold on, we see a lot on social media,
yeah.
and I had a friend express to me that sometimes the way that we react to it is very hard to take in because of the atmosphere, and sometimes we don't participate in things the right way. But how do y'all feel about the trial, the way it
Well,
played out? The
I already know Montoya gonna have a way better way of expounding it than
so
me.
he gonna go first? Or you,
Nah, I'm gonna go first because mine
you
gonna be
gonna
short.
piggyback?
Mine
Right.
finna be short too. You gonna be shocked,
Oh shit.
but you go ahead though.
All right. Well, mine is look. I mean, it was a victory for his family. I think it's gonna lead way for them to also do some civil action towards the other police officers that were involved. Because then, if it becomes a crime, then they are witnesses to a crime, or I forgot the technical term,
Accessories.
but accessories to a crime, right?
Mhm.
And so, I think it's also a good sign, that becomes an example that police. I think it could do. It's going to trigger have an effect on a number of things. Not only how police, the decisions they make to find out, oh shit, I can get convicted, but also can change some policy, or give leverage and momentum to policies that are already there trying to, well, things that are trying to become law, amendments or whatever trying to become law. So, I think that, and then I think that on the flip side of that, I think that this speaks to the threat of violence. Violence has always gotten its way in this country, and it got us this country. And while there's other ways of protesting, I think violence is an extension of protest that has now become a valuable tool. And I don't even want to say violence. It's really just a rebellion. That's all it is when white people did it back in the day, it was a rebellion.
Mhm.
So why would
And
we
win
do
in
it?
history books.
Right, right. So I think rebellion has now become a old school tool that we picked up, that we found that we can utilize too to execute some type of power, because it all affects capitalism.
Especially because our power is in being able to broadcast it
Yeah, yeah,
unfiltered.
hell yeah. So that's been my thoughts on it. For sure.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
King.
mine. I just really followed the sentiments of a brother I follow named Ivory Tosin, renowned professor at Howard University. He's much better at stats than me, so that's saying a lot. That's who I go to
Damn.
when it comes to
Yeah.
the stat
I'm gonna
game.
go back and watch that and follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, go follow Ivory Tosin. You want to get your
Ivory
stat game
Tosin.
up?
Yeah.
You ain't
It's
even gotta-
Tosin? Like,
Tosin, Toldson.
oh damn.
Yeah,
Tolden.
yeah, Tosin. But
Told.
DSON, Tosin.
Toldson. Okay. All
Yeah,
right. Got you.
I'll send them to you.
All right, cool.
Anyway, but he put up a sentiment, and it's the only thing I said about the trial. Because I will say this to a degree, and I've talked about this on the Mental Dialogue Talk Show quite often. I'm a recommendation for our people when it comes to this type of stuff. Believe it or not, unless it's local to you, I'm a fan of not watching any videos. I got a whole show behind why, so I don't know if you got time to do. I don't want to take up y'all time on
No,
that.
you good.
But the psychology of it, literally, basically the trauma that we've experienced, and sometimes some of it's due to our own interactions with law enforcement. And if we're if we're realistic, it's not that all of our interactions with law enforcement have been bad, but as African Americans, there's going to be a few that stand out. Just it ain't even got anything to do with necessarily being, for most of us, we're not getting murdered in those situations.
Yeah.
But even our bad situations, and then to see the trauma of a murder just connects it all or whatever. And then in the social media age, and to see it on TV as a regular basis, it feels like it's more than it is. And if I want to go to the numbers,
Yeah.
because it ain't,
The numbers don't lie.
yeah. But
Yeah.
so to watch and get connected to something that is not as big as it appears, you're actually getting emotional about something that's not
That's
real
big.
to a degree. So I'm not a huge fan of. I haven't seen videos in 6, 7, 8 years.
Okay.
Like I've been on this I've been on this for a long time.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I did the show on it, I go through the complete psychology of it with the therapist.
Yeah.
With the psychologist on. So
Yeah.
it wasn't just Montoya
Yeah.
telling you some his
No
theories.
conspiracy theory. or nothing like that.
Right. This is backed up by
Right. It's actual
some,
science,
so I'm
practical
able to say,
science,
hey,
yeah.
whatever. Anyway, but back to
I just no, that's dope because I actually haven't watched any of the videos since the George Floyd.
Okay.
It's because
Stop watching them.
I just stopped watching them
Please
because
stop watching.
it became so rapid, and I felt a lot of the time.
it starts affecting your daily life.
It started affecting how I felt, and it's like I know a lot of the time that wasn't the interaction with police. When I was a bodyguard at Cirque, we worked with police damn near every night, and and they actually did a lot to deter taking motherfuckers to jail. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and when you look at the numbers, and I tried to look at the numbers so many different type of ways to see, well, are we dying that often, or what are the interaction? You find it's crazy because it's hard to have an argument against the police and how they over police us and brutality. When you look at the numbers and the percentage wise, you see a lot of white males go through the same, especially in impoverished communities.
Right.
So it's like it paints a different picture when you look at the numbers. But if you look on social media, like you said with the video, you get caught up in the outrage, and I don't want to be the one that caught up in the outrage when I'm such also a logical person. Like, it's hard for me to go against my own best, what I'm seeing and what I'm knowing, to side with a group of people that I'm helping progress. So it's like I'm with Toya. I just one of the ones I haven't watched their video since George Floyd, and I don't watch.
I would recommend don't watch anymore.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. But let me but I want to give you my actual. So basically, I end up speaking of Ivory. I want to bring that full circle because basically when you say what was my sentiment about everything, I basically saw Ivory Tosin say this, and I reposted it with like an added sentence. So this really captures my full sentiment.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't celebrate things that should be normal.
Woo.
So I just reposted it with an added line.
That was a bar. He said that.
That's a bar, bro. That's bars.
I gotta use that on the chick.
Right. Cause the bigger point
because
the bigger point is, why should we have? Why it should be normal that when police do go above and beyond their actual duties to harm us, it should be normal for them to be held accountable. And so it's not that he doesn't, him saying that, it's not that he doesn't get why we're celebrating whatever.
Right.
But I'm fully in that space as well. But I'm fully in that space partly because I've spent years staying away to the emotions of, and for me, it's not even the emotions of whether it's happened to whites too or things of that nature. Again, we've had our own experiences. I got a couple of, like I got a cop. I'm glad I don't know his face because if I saw it now, I might go into a rage that I don't know what I would do.
Gotcha.
But my point being is, just if you're not local, because local, you might, even if it's participating in a protest, to whatever degree that is, you can do something with the rage. When it's not local to you, it can only hamper what you're doing in your space. And in your space, for most of us are very committed to our own families and what we want to do for our, for the next generation, especially, for the space that work that we're doing.
Yeah, true.
So paying attention to that knocks you off your game. I'm not simplifying, because think about what your game is. If you can gather these resources to the degree that you want to, you afford your family some level of protection. So why watch a video that's going to take you off your game? Because your game is actually going to be more valuable for your own people that your blood run through. And if you're successful enough, maybe more of your community. Maybe you become a business leader that starts influencing policies. Why should we ever have that person knocked off their game?
True.
Because they're spending, because it does make you do this.
Yeah.
You'll spend a week and a half going back through the process of, has anything changed? So you're losing time.
That's a heat rock.
Your work.
That's a heat
Your work
Yeah.
is because the systemic stuff is there. Because I'm not saying don't fight the systemic stuff. Anytime, because your influence, if you become a local, because our politics are run by the business class.
Absolutely.
So in the event that you're able to get in the business class, I'm not saying I love highlighting the brothers like yourself who are moving in that direction.
Yeah.
I'm in media, so that's my role. I
Right.
play my role.
Right.
But I'm just saying I don't want none of those brothers, because I've taught this to a lot of my cats that I respect.
Yeah.
I tell them don't pay. And I broke down the psychology so they would stop. So when they stop, so when I'm calling them on what they're doing, they ain't talking about the situations that are going on right now, because they already been taught by me.
Right.
Don't pay no attention. So when I'm talking to them, they're trying to figure out their next move.
That's a fact.
And they not, because if they took the time to look, they not finna be on their game.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But
man.
if you're, and the reason it's okay if you're local,
That's
You
controversial.
can do something. Well, you can do something with the rage.
Yeah.
If you were in California seeing the Ahmaud Arbery situation,
Yeah.
if you couldn't be in Atlanta and get on that
Yeah.
bus, what's
The
you
purpose
getting
of
caught
you
up?
serve.
What is it gonna do for you?
So
Even the
Slightly
resources-
get into the
hold on,
psychology.
even the res-
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I want to talk about it from this level because I think that sometimes we do get in our own bubble, and we do only deal with the things that affect us. And if that was the case, and if people stayed in that mentality, because a lot of times it gets brought up like isolated incidents.
Yeah. Let me clarify before you, because I see where you're going.
Okay.
So here's the clarity. Specifically, the police brutality is all I'm saying do this with.
But is that so?
Specifically,
I
there's a
think-
reason why specifically that. I don't want you to apply that because where you're going in the right place. If you didn't understand that I'm talking about specifically these situations,
I think
because
that
if you
police-
apply that to a lot of things, you now get in a bubble and you're not involved to affect change.
Gotcha.
Is where you're going.
Right.
I'm talking about specifically the trauma of what us as black people watching a video where we see other black people harmed.
Yeah.
The psychology of that ends up being way more damaging because, again, if you're on your game and if you're already working to help your community, I don't even want you off that game.
I agree with that.
You see what I'm saying? So
I
if
actually agree with
if
that.
you're the type
Damn.
of, because here it is, if you're the type of brother that's going to isolate and do that anyway, what you're about to say don't even apply. That's just who that person is.
Well, the question is,
yeah, go ahead.
when you talk about people being off their game, right?
He determined to get this motherfucker off.
I want to know. I want to see where he's
I just
going
like,
because I don't
go
know.
ahead.
Well,
Nah,
it was a few
there
things.
may be some nuance in here. Let's
One, I
do
think
nuance.
that the police
Let's do the
brutality
nuance.
is the end game, right?
When you say it's the end game,
in
I just wanna- I don't know what you mean. I just
of
wanna know
our
what you mean about it.
interactions with the cops, the killing is the. There's nothing after that, right? That's what we sometimes view as the final destination of police brutality and over policing and all of these things. And so, in an effort for the voice of the unheard, oftentimes we do get it doesn't happen that often. A lot of people turn blind eyes to it. A lot of people, curate a bubble for themselves. And so sometimes protection just happens around me and my family. And other people, I've been a token black guy. I know how white people feel about these things. And if they've never been able to view these things, it's all a myth. The reason that these things, that these videos are constantly being posted is because when you do see the media say, oh, it's an isolated event, or when you have people saying, oh, well, it don't happen as often. And I agree with the sentiment that the number doesn't always happen. But that's the end game. Police brutality is the small portion of a larger picture, which is
Injustice.
black people's interaction with
Inequality.
policing. And so, of course, it's not just the killings that get shown on there. It's the way that black people are constantly being treated. And I would consider myself a mild-mannered black man for the most part who has a great level of control and awareness of my environment. And you've never felt as out of control or out of control of yourself as when you've had some of these interactions with cops. And for me, that's not a rare occasion, right? It's not to the point where sometimes I'm just trying to get home. I'm trying to get to work where I make an honest living and then get home. I work with police. I've been to police trainings, so from the beginning portion, trainings and all of that. So that's something that I understand. I don't think police are bad people. I do think that the narrative for black people is one thing, which is it's more often than not is they shouldn't have been acting like that. They shouldn't have been in that position. And what the world really doesn't see is what cultivates you to get to a point where you that agitated at this group that most Americans see as help.
Because they don't have that experience.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the voice of the unheard can only express itself in certain ways, right?
But is it the voice of the unheard? That's my question.
Who?
Well, let him finish because I want to understand where he's.
So
exactly
you
talking
got
about
a
what he
few things.
I want to understand what he's saying so I can understand before.
You got a few
you probably
things.
understand
You got a
already.
few
I
things
want
that's
to
happening.
understand.
You got most people feel powerless, just in general, and sometimes it's social media that gives you a little. In a lot of cases now, that social media gives you a lot of power and influence, and it also connects us to one another. It connects us in our dialogues. It connects me to you in Chicago, in Cali. It makes us feel connected that, damn, this ain't no, like, I might just up and move to Cali. People in the South got this idea about Cali that it's an amazing place and nothing happens except motherfuckers going to the beach. So that's our view. We also got this same view on people in England, that they don't understand what we go through. But now when you start putting these up and you like, damn, they doing it. And now you see that these are shared experiences among people of your color, no matter where they are. But you also see that people care, and sometimes that's all you got. You got the wantingness to feel cared about as well. When you see people protesting in sports, but you also see people protesting in England. People that are your color wanting to feel connected to you. And not just it's still work being done. It's still people every day going to be lawyers and going into policing to try to make a change in politics to that notion as well. There is a breaking point, and I don't think most people can stop themselves prior to the breaking point. Prior to and we perseverate over it to where it seems like, damn, this shit happened to us way at a 90% rate. You know what I'm saying? So that's different, but
what's your overall point?
My overall point is I still think that
I hear his point.
I don't think that most people can manage themselves, which is that's life. But I don't think that we should not watch them, and that's your prerogative. I don't think that most people should not watch them. I think to some level we just have to start controlling the narrative around how it looks for us to other people as well.
Right. So let me just. I don't know if this. I don't know if this will add clarity, but understand again. Yeah, you definitely don't have to agree with me, but again, I'm talking about the psychology of seeing the seeing it.
Okay.
So I know you understand that part, but don't think that that when I say not watch it includes don't do anything about things.
No, I get that as well.
So I just want to I didn't know if that was being made clear, that when I say specifically the watching of or whatever, because as soon, as someone who's been a part of mass incarceration, pushing policy, asking people to sign petitions, I can do that and still not watch the video of why I'm signing this petition. So I'm not saying don't act, but I am talking about because even you. Well, I don't think when you were saying I don't know if most people can manage themselves. If you believe that, then there's all the more reason you don't need to see the damn video.
Well, the other
in
part,
my opinion,
the other part is